Sonic the motherfucking Hedgehog. Happy birthday! And yes, I do realize that his birthday was June 21st, not when this thing came out in July. But I only remember that because it's 5 days after my birthday. Yay for me. So Sega decided to host this giant Sonic 25th anniversary party, birthday party for him, which was riddled with all types of issues. Bzz, 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 bzz. Are you tired of it? Bzz, 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 bzz. Too bad you got another hour of it. Bzz, bzz, bzz. But luckily we have Hyper Potions playing in the background. Bzz, bzz, click. Stream died. And at this party, there was really only two noteworthy things to mention. I mean, obviously, if you're a Sonic fan, you were already excited about, partying with the Sonic peeps. And it was this, once the stream got fixed, it was pretty okay to watch. But for those at home, we were only caring about two things after we left that experience. One, Sonic Mania, and two, Sonic 2017. So we're going to talk about those things. So let's start with Sonic Mania, aka what Sonic 4 should have been. Let's be real here. This is exactly what people wanted from a Sonic 4 game, and considering you got Christian fucking Whitehead on this, son, it's done. There is almost no doubt in my mind. This is going to be good, son. And just looking at some of the gameplay and some of the changes that they've made, it feels like it's a natural progression from like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic CD. It feels literally like it's coming right after that. You can see, even tell in some of the small animations where Sonic is doing his jump, his bouncing off of springs animation is directly from fucking Sonic CD. Even some of his running animation looks like it's from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's just it looks like it's a culmination of Sonic. And in a sequel Sonic game, that's exactly what the fuck I want. Now granted, the only caveat is not every stage is new or brand spanking new, with all the sparkles and shit. It's not glistening in the sunlight. I'm sorry, that was a terrible Twilight joke, and it's 2016. We should have moved past that. I'm sorry. You guys deserve better content. So let's just ignore it and move on. But I don't really care as much about the remix stages, being mad about it, considering it's a fucking classic Sonic game. Now granted, for someone like me who was more into the 3D era of Sonic, I'm not saying I haven't played the 2D games, but just saying I was way more into the 3D era of Sonic. I wasn't as like and if you're probably wondering why there wasn't a reaction video, well, bzz, 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 bzz. But the game is great. The game is it's another step in the right direction because it appeals to the fans who don't necessarily like 3D Sonic. Even the best iterations of 3D Sonic, which would be in the form of Colors and Generations, people still kind of prefer the classic era. So giving them something is a good idea. And on top of which, if they're smart, they'll make this a sub-series. Kind of like what Mega Man did, where Mega Man had its mainline series of games, and then also had like spin-off series that were kind of its representation. Because you still had the main, except the difference is that for some reason Mega Man has like 3 mainline series. But the mainline series I'm referring to is its original 1 through 10 series. Sonic Mania could be the restart of the mainline Sonic series of being the 2D era, pixel, 16-bit greatness era, and then we could also have alongside it the 3D games. That way, if you're fucking up one, you got another one to lean back on. Because what they used to do is just throw Sonic at everything, and that's why we got weird things like Sonic Shuffle and Sonic Adventure 06. We don't want to do that again. So that's really all I have to say about Sonic Mania. Now let's move on to the one that raises most of the questions and most of the excitement and some confusion. Sonic Project 2017. Now, we only get a CGI trailer, and the CGI trailer only really hammers in about 3 points to me. The first point is this thing definitely feels like. First point, they're definitely trying to hammer in the fact that Sonic Generations and Colors is going to be a basis for the game, especially when the trailer went out of its way to go from the creators of Sonic Generation and Sonic Colors, even though it's Sonic Team, so technically it would be all the other games too. I'm just saying, it's not like it's a different team all of a sudden. But the fact that they're hammering in Generations and Colors tells me that they are really going to try to do that gameplay style again. This is also hammered in by the fact that, oh look, Classic Sonic is back, but it's not Generations 2. Another interesting thing they decided to do is show us weird apocalyptic city. Now, no offense, but this is kind of a trigger thing for some people, because remember the last time we saw a destroyed city engulfed in flames with monsters destroying everything? Bestiality occurred, and you know, we ain't cool with that shit. And then to further add in on the confusion, the tagline for this game is "Join the Resistance." Join the Resistance? There's not too much really to say on 2017 because other than those three things I mentioned, there's nothing else to really talk about. But it is interesting that that's the direction they're going. And obviously this means that the Lost World formula is not probably going to be returning anytime soon. Sad face. I mean, sad face. Although personally I am hoping that they may grab some small elements from Lost World and try to kind of push it in with the Generation style, because I think there are things in Lost World that could totally work for a new Sonic game. Just depends on how much they pull from it. I'm hoping we get at least some spiritual grabbing, but knowing Sega, it's kind of it's either an all or nothing situation. So if they're going all the way back to Generations, that means fuck it. And besides, it also brings up the question though, I know that Sonic Lost World was in 2013, but that's still 4 years from 2013 to 2017, which is when this game is supposed to release, of just development time. With an engine that's pretty much similar to Generations, you might have to have jacked it up a bit to fit, you know, the new PlayStation 4 and Xbox One standards, but it's still the same general engine, so I'm curious about how much they've changed. And there's a lot you can change and make it better, so I'm looking forward to seeing what advancements they made in the Generations playstyle. And then obviously we're going to ask the question if they're going to do the same thing they did in Generations, where classic Sonic had his straight 2D levels and modern Sonic had like the 2.5D levels. We don't know, but the potential is there. And I think the one thing you could take away from those two game announcements is that they both felt like fans, we heard you kind of announcements, and that's the best thing you can do. Because even though Sonic 2017 looks kind of weird, it focused on the two games everybody liked. And Sonic Mania was already good the moment I saw Christian Whitehead on the screen. Didn't see any gameplay footage. I was like, alright, I'm sold, turn it off. We're good. When's the game coming out? Although, I guess one last thing to note before we end this. NX release for the mainline game, but no NX release for the 2D game. I feel like some NDAs are getting broken in the background. And you can just see Nintendo silently but surely trying to shoot Sega from across the world. Like, why do you keep fucking with our shit? But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm relatively excited for both games, and I'm happy that both games look like they have at least general appeal. And oh yeah, Sonic Boom Season 2, but I think we're still in the recovery stages of that series, so we're not going to talk about it for a while. Loves the gameplay to win. Bye! Peace on!